So this gave us a hint about why Australians weren't getting sick. It seems that there's a natural treatment train in the rainwater harvesting system that was improving the water quality. So perhaps rainwater is not untreated, it has a natural treatment train. So we further tested this at an inner city house in Maryville, and as you can see from the picture, it's got industrial areas behind it with a big shed. It's an old house, it's got a rusty roof, so if you have a galvanised iron roof that's rusty, it will actually give off zinc, and zinc is an aesthetic problem, not a health problem. So it'll make the water taste harder. And here's the average water quality results from the Maryville site. As you can see, there's an industrial area, there's a fair number of microbial and physical dissolved and suspended solids and nutrients and metal contaminants there. At the point of supply, in this case, we have a good quality above ground rainwater tank, so it's actually not leaking soil and leaves into the storage whenever it rains. At the point of supply, we've got no fecal coliforms, so no indicator bacteria for pathogens, and the total coliforms is low, and the other contaminants are actually quite low. You can see there's an increase in the dissolved solids in the water because it's concentrating in the rainwater storage. In the hot water service, you can see that, which is the second last column, that most of the contaminants have gone. So the hot water service was set at 55 degrees. It was a storage system. Just normal temperature hot water service in the house was actually eliminating the bacteria from the rainwater, the majority of it. The last column is the guidelines from Australian Drinking Water Guidelines, comparing it. As you can see, at the point of supply in the tank and from the hot water service, with no treatment devices on it, was pretty close to drinking water standards. So again, it's actually a totally different site. It's showing that the rainwater is improving in quality from the roof through to the tap and the hot water service. So it's a treatment train. This picture I'm showing you now is an early picture from my own house. It's in Carrington. You can see there's trees hanging over the house, rainwater storage is down the side of the house, an old roof again, and there's my golden retriever walking into the house. So in this case, we actually tested the proposition that there is a treatment train, but also the water quality being different at different locations in the rainwater storage, the rainwater tank. As you can see here, we've got fecal coliforms, total coliforms, pseudomonas species and heterotrophic plant counts, so the major bacterial indicators. You've got higher counts that are the mid-depth in the rainwater tank and near the bottom, and there's vastly improved quality at the cold water tap in the house and at the hot water tap in the house. So the hot water and cold water tap is mostly consistent with the drinking water guidelines. So we can see here that not only is there a treatment train from roof to tap, there's also stratified quality within the rainwater storage. And this is quite important because many people take their samples when they sample from a rainwater tank by dipping their sampling bucket or whatever they're using and sample jar into the surface of the tank. But the wastewater quality is sitting on the very surface. As you can see, as we get down into the water column, the water quality is improved and far better at the tap. So we've got a natural treatment train is clear from what we've talked about here. But we also did medical standard DNA analysis of the bacteria we did find in the rainwater storage, and the coliform bacteria, which people assume is associated with some sort of fecal contamination of the water, therefore it will have a potential to have pathogens in the water that might make you sick. We actually found that your normal traditional test was showing up as coliform bacteria, but when we used medical standard DNA analysis, it was actually bacillus, which is a normal soil bacteria. And this research actually showed that in environmental waters like rainwater tanks, your standard tests that are okay in utility mains water systems actually can be quite misleading for rainwater harvesting systems, which is another potential reason why we have so many rainwater harvesting systems in Australia and people drinking water out of them, and that not many of them have been sick. And the metal and chemical parameters in the Carrington House were always within the guidelines, Australian drinking water guidelines.